A US drone attack has killed at least 4 Islamic militants in Pakistan. The missiles, which struck late last night, hit an insurgent compound in North Waziristan, just on the Afghan border. This comes just 2 months after an American airstrike killed 24 Pakistani troops, adding to the already tense relationship between Washington and Islamabad. The White House said that November attack was an error, but Pakistan rejected the findings, saying the strike was deliberate. For more on this, we can talk to Chris Woods, a senior reporter at the Bureau of Investigative Journalism at the City University in London. Thank you for coming on the programme today. Islamabad has did warn in December that it will shoot down any US drones that intrude its airspace as part of its new defence policy. Now we've seen this latest drone attack. Is it possible we can expect a reaction from Pakistan?
I think we have to assume that last night's drone strike was with the complicit or implicit involvement of the Pakistani government. The US and Pakistan has been discussing behind the scenes for some weeks now a revised drone strike policy in Pakistan, and I think it's inconceivable that those drones were operating in Waziristan last night without the approval of the Pakistan government.
Now, Pakistan's military has publicly rebuked the country's prime minister after he actually criticised the military in an interview. Is there any coincidence, do you think, in the timing of these new US attacks and the breakdown in relations between the military and the government?
I think relations remain fraught between Pakistan military and government. I think the drone strike issue here is a separate one. There have been significant leaks both in Islamabad and Washington in recent days about a new deal imminent on drone strikes, and I think that's what last night's attack reflects. Whether there's a link between that and the stresses in Islamabad between government and military, I'm not sure.
Now, according to your Bureau of Investigative Journalism, there could have been more than 100 civilian deaths from drones in 2011 alone. Is it possible that can just all be simply written off as just that of collateral damage, a necessity of war?
I'd hate to see any civilian death written off as collateral damage, and just to make the point, the CIA continues to claim that it hasn't killed a single civilian in Pakistan since, in fact, May 2010. The Bureau's research on this shows quite the opposite, and we've documented a minimum of 53 civilians we believe were killed in Pakistan by US drones last year, and that number may be as high as 126. It is fair to say, obviously, that civilians do get killed in war. The question here is the United States at war in the tribal areas of Pakistan, and what kind of authority does it have to actually carry out these drone strikes?
Well, when you talk about the tribal areas, regarding to one of your latest articles, as we know, the CIA's attacks have resumed in these Pakistani tribal areas. Do you think Pakistan has forgiven the US for its mistakes, or how much has the funding that Islamabad receives from Washington played a part in this decision? There are some that might seem incredulous as to how much more patience will Pakistan have to continue turning a deaf ear to these drone bombings.
I mean, obviously the United States has a very deep financial relationship with Pakistan, and particularly with Pakistan's military, and we're talking about billions of dollars a year being spent on Pakistan's military by the US going back almost a decade now. So yes, that money is important to Pakistan, and I think that's an important aspect of leverage for the US in their drone strikes. Some of these drone strikes are obviously in the interests of Pakistan. For example, when Pakistan Taliban leaders are killed, or when Al-Qaeda leaders are killed. Both of those organisations represent a threat to the Pakistan state, and I think Pakistan is generally not unhappy when that happens. The problem is, of course, when either civilians are killed, which is, we believe, happens fairly frequently, or whether other militant organisations with which Pakistan itself is friendly come under attack, and that places Pakistan at a significant awkwardness, really, with militant organisations within its own borders.
I wish we had more time for this. Chris Woods, senior reporter at the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. Many thanks for coming on the programme.